Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Beth, here to help you fulfill your potential in meditation. As most of you know, I don't have just one method that I teach to everybody, like one size fits all. Instead, I much prefer to teach people one-on-one. And the reason is that you're all different. So please use these videos as a guideline. And if there's anything that isn't quite working for you, anything that doesn't quite fit, then be in touch and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. Today's video is about developing the 8th jhana, an incredibly peaceful and refined state of mind. We call this jhana the base of neither perception nor non-perception, which is a strange name for a jhana, and all I'll say about that today is that there is in fact perception in the 8th jhana. It's just a very, very refined form of perception. The simile that we find in the Pali texts is if we have a bowl with oil in it and we pour the oil out, then we ask ourselves, is there still oil in the bowl? We might say no. But is the bowl free from oil? Also no, because a trace of oil remains on the bowl. In the same way, in the 8th jhana, a trace of perception remains. Perception and all of the mental factors of the 8th jhana are incredibly subtle. So let's say that we want to develop the 8th jhana. Where do we start? Well, the most obvious starting point is we need to have first developed the first 7 jhanas. Now, I've made separate videos on the first 7 jhanas, so if you haven't done so already, I'd suggest that you go away and watch those, but not only watch the videos, also do the practice. If we haven't already developed competence in the first 7 jhanas, then this video is not going to mean much to you. So let's say that we do have competence in the first 7 jhanas and now we want to develop 8th. Where do we start? Well, what I would suggest is that we start by taking a few minutes in each of the first 6 jhanas, let's say a few minutes in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and then we want to spend slightly longer in the 7th jhana, perhaps about half an hour in the 7th jhana, which is the base of nothingness. Emerging from the base of nothingness, we will notice the 2 jhana factors of equanimity and one-pointedness, and the object, which is the base of nothingness. Now, when we want to shift to the 8th jhana, what we want to find is the awareness of that nothingness. What knows that nothingness? Now, you'll notice that the shift here is a little bit similar to the shift from the 5th to the 6th jhana. If you'll remember, when we move from the 5th to the 6th, the 5th is the base of boundless space, and the 6th is what knows that space. It's the consciousness of that space. So in the same way, to move from the 7th to the 8th, the 7th is nothingness, and the 8th is the awareness of that nothingness. So when we find the awareness of that nothingness, we want to make that awareness our new meditation object. And focusing on that awareness, we enter the 8th jhana. Now, as we enter the 8th jhana, we can make a time determination for the amount of time that we want to spend in the 8th jhana. And when we emerge, we can check our heart. We'll find the 2 jhana factors of one-pointedness and equanimity. And we should find the object of the neither perception nor non-perception. Now, if we're not successful, we simply try again the next time. And if we are successful, then we want to practice to gradually reduce the time in the 7th jhana and increase the time in the 8th jhana. So we could, for example, reduce the time in the 7th jhana to 15 minutes and gradually increase the time in the 8th jhana. And we want to continue doing that until we can spend about 5 minutes in the 7th jhana and the rest of the time in the 8th jhana. When we're feeling confident, then what remains is to practice mastery of the 8th jhana. Now, as I said, this is an incredibly peaceful and refined state of mind, but it's not the most peaceful state of mind available to us. There is something better, and that something better is Nibbana. So I would suggest, if you've developed the 8th jhana, don't rest content there. If you want something even more peaceful, even more refined for yourselves, then Nibbana is available for you. And if you want to walk that path towards Nibbana, what you will need to do is practice Vipassana. Now, I'm going to make some other videos on Vipassana practice, so I welcome you to watch those if the attainment of Nibbana interests you. That's what I have to say today on developing the 8th jhana, an incredibly peaceful and refined state of mind. Now is the time to get off of those screens, get onto the meditation cushion and actually do the practice. If you're encountering any difficulty, if anything isn't working for you, if there's anything you're confused about, please feel free to get in touch with me and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you individually. As most of you know, I do all of my work on a donation basis, so I encourage you to support me either through Patreon or through my website so that I can continue to make these videos. Thank you so much for your support. Wishing you the best with your meditation.